Okay, so up first is the composer. They had asked for a volunteer. I raised my hand. That's all it took. There was a town car waiting. On the way to the program, they gave me a suit. I hope you've been practicing, they said, as we pulled up to the auditorium. Of course I have, I replied. I feel like this happened to James Tate once. I thought about that for a minute. They pulled up the curtain. I bowed to the applauding masses, hundreds of rows in each direction. I turned and gave the orchestra an ancient Creole blessing. We brought the house down that night, rushed off stage after the show, escorted to a dingily lit room. They wanted the suit back immediately. Same town car waiting in the alley. They dropped me off on the same street corner they found me on. Thanks for filling in, is all they said, before screeching away. I don't know who they were, but next time, I'd be ready for them. This one's kind of James Tate too. He's been, I don't know, I've read his book like 6 times, so you could say he's been an influence. Taking candy from a baby. Coils of salty sweetness in the station vending machines. Calculating change in my pocket. I did not have the $2.35 for a Snickers bar. I had $1.27. Panhandling a dime would score me a bag of pretzels. Hell, maybe somebody would even give me $1. Standing near stairs to the tunnel asking strangers for help. Most looked away to avoid eye contact. A group of kids approaches the vending machine. Each of them purchases a couple items. A small fortune clicks in the coin return tray. I plead with the kids for some change. They look at me and laugh. You don't even have a sign, mister. I don't know what they meant, but I knew they were right. I handed them all my money and started running. The places I stay, and I should mention I was practicing at Green Lake last night, and I read this, and immediately when I was done, these 3 geese just up and left. So I don't know, I thought I had a captive audience, but it's called The Places I Stay. Sides of roads, places with a bed, shower, sink, mostly clean. The roar of the usually near interstate, slamming doors, car alarms, voices laughing, suitcases rolling over sidewalk cracks, wake-up calls, cleaning staff, knocking too early, knocking too much. It all fades into the buzz of the air conditioner. I steal precious minutes of sleep before heading to the next town down the road. And away the geese went. Just This is about the season we're in now, which some people call it horrible, some people call it Seattle gray or whatever, but growing up here I got used to it, so this kind of addresses that. It's called Gray Sky Over Our City. An endless stretch of gray, mostly cloudy as far as the weatherman can see. It grinds Gloom City to a rut. Habits change. Hope is worn down and out. Conversations continue though dampened by sideways winds. Misery spreads, a thick mist. Umbrellas create false hope inside out. Gray skies have captured the sunshine. The sameness of days suspends what rain doesn't drench. Sludge-clogged gutters become urban swamps. City folks' shoes squish and splash. Seattle collectively looks at the sky, looking for a spot, anywhere. A place where some sun can shine. Alright, moving along. This is the day I did not invent walking. I put one foot in front of the other, then repeated the process commonly known as walking. Although useful, I had seen others walking before me, before I had walked. Dismayed by this realization, I sat on a bench and cried my eyes out. I was not the inventor of walking, nor would I ever be. If only I could invent something so practical, so efficient. Unsure how to move on, I put one foot in front of the other, then repeated the process. So speaking of inventing things, I wish sometimes I would have invented something in technology, because there's a lot more money in technology and poetry, if you guys haven't noticed. But this is also kind of a technology rant. It's called Click Click Now. Strangers in strange rooms, repeating ourselves, same day as yesterday, moving from place to place, clicking the right clicks, consumed by information. We live in short spurts. Mostly, we are dead weight, tenders of machines, operators of devices. We make up conversations before having them, then talk to ourselves. Water our lawns so we can mow the grass. Catch up on sleep, change postures, stand, never comfortable, sit in different chairs, awkward shifts, mumbling, losing sleep, sleeping on the floor, no sleep, only sleep. We are plugging in and plugging out. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. These next few poems address relationships of different sorts. First one is called Shaving for Something, and I brought this out of retirement recently, so it's been a while, but shaving for something. Lather up that face, warm up some water, wipe off the mirror and let go of yesterday's stubble. Harder than it sounds. It really grows on you, and that's something. Man with stubble's a man with something. A real man with something. But if I had you, wouldn't ever have stubble, because you are really something. Something better than stubble, and I'd rather you grew on me, because you ain't all scratchy like yesterday was. You'd be something if you were my baby, worth shaving for. I'm in the market for a Valentine, but I'm going to read these next two before everyone rushes the stage here. This is called Hecklers. I'm not sure if the little blue birds outside the kitchen window were chirping in song or chirping at me to refill the bird feeder. Perhaps they were overjoyed, chirping to see me clean the stack of dishes in the sink. They were a lot like my wife. Maybe she turned into a little bird, gathered them at the window, sat there, and had a good time chirping at me. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Two more, and then I'm going to hand the stage over to David here. This is called Arguing in Line. There were 15 million people in front of us in line. My wife was upset. Earlier I had pressed snooze a couple extra times. She was convinced we would be near the front by now if we'd started the day on time. I wasn't so sure it would have made any difference. Glares and embarrassed silence. We were talking way too loud and people definitely noticed. Who would want to stand here awkwardly in an endless line with bickering Betty and Donnie disagrees? I asked my wife if she wanted to go home and go back to bed. That was a big mistake. I got in trouble for that one. She had really invested herself in our place in line. Do you want to get stuck even further back behind a couple million more people, she asked. Do you even care if we see the front of the line? She had me there. No, I did not care. Oops. That was an even bigger mistake. The eavesdroppers chuckled and shook their heads. Well, hell, I was being honest. Who cares what the people in the front of the line get? But there I was waiting, in trouble with my wife and laughed at by people around us. I forgave them all for staring. We didn't know what we were waiting for. Everyone else just started getting in line, so we did too. Furnace up a little. Jeez. Okay, last one is joining the murder. And this is not a relationship. Joining the murder. While drinking my morning coffee, a crow flew through the open window and landed on my kitchen table. He and the others from the tree would be leaving soon, he explained. They had taken a boat and decided to invite me along. That is very kind of you, but I'm not a crow, I said. Besides, I have a lot to do today. Well, think about it anyway, the crow said before he flew back to the tree with the others. I was sure the crows were cawing about our conversation. They all looked over at me at once. I tried to look away real fast, but they caught me staring. Considering the offie, I put down my coffee, ran over to the window. I'm ready, I yelled out to them. I'm ready.